Hi there, my name is John Stevens, pastor of Zion Lutheran Church, and we're part of the ELCA. And welcome to Dollar Store Children's Sermons, where we take a look at the lectionary text and we tie him to an item from the Dollar Tree. This is for the narrative lectionary, and the second Sunday of Advent, we're looking at Ezekiel, and it's the dry bones, where God sees the dry bones and speaks and breathes, and these bones then live. And so the item from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to use, and I've used this for previous children's sermons, and I believe I've used this for the Ezekiel, the dry bones story before out of the Revised Common Lectionary, but I use a bag of rocks. And at the Dollar Tree and at the dollar store, at Michael's, you can find them, the bag of rocks in a mesh bag. And what's beautiful about them is that you're already contained. I don't take them out of the bag, I just keep them in the bag, and so that you can rub them together when you have your bag of rocks and you rub them together. Because my suggestion is with this story is to tell the story, is to retell the story that as the bones come together, and that's where you rub it. It reminds me a lot of Godly Play, and the Godly Play stories where we say, I wonder what it sounded like when the bones started to come together. I wonder what it looked like when new life came about. And that we talk about how in the story we hear a God that breathes on the bones and new life comes out. And that how in the waters of baptism and in the gift of bread and wine, that God through the Spirit and through the means of grace breathes upon us. And through the Word, that as we hear this, as we hear the Word of grace, God's Spirit breathes upon us, and we live again, and our spirits are rejuvenated. Some language that I would work on for the kids, but this idea that when you tell the story ultimately tells us that we have a God that brings us to new life, that sends us out so that we can also be new life to other people. And that's my springboard, using that bag of rocks and rubbing them together. Possibly getting, if you wanted to, if you didn't just want to tell the story and you're rubbing the rocks together, which is pretty effective, is that you can open the bag and give 2 rocks to the kids, and as you're telling the story, they can clink the rocks together, and as they come together. But it is an effective way. Let's see if I can get my words about me. It's an effective way to tell the story and to give that audible sense to the story. So I hope that can be a springboard for your own thinking. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a fantastic week.